Well, hey there, everybody. What's going on? Thank you for stopping by to check out my tier list of Game of Thrones characters. So I was recently hanging out with my good friend Holden, and this is sort of in honor of that. He had me come by, and we did a tier list dedicated to the movies in the MCU. So I'm going to post a link to that down in the description. So make sure to head over there and let him know that you think my opinion is better than his. Or you ain't got to do that. At least click like on his video when you head over there. Show him some love. Support local content creators. But I thought it was a lot of fun. And I was like, well, Game of Thrones has come to an end. And hell, seems like everybody's still enjoying talking about it. So I wanted to kind of go through with all of the characters from every season of Game of Thrones, and we're going to rank them in this tier list. Many of you guys probably know better than I do. I think tier lists were basically invented for gaming. I think like League of Legends and stuff specifically. But in a nutshell, S means super, like the best. A, B, C, D. As they go further down, they become less significant. I was trying to think, how do we quantify this? I could do like the sexiest Game of Thrones characters, but obviously people like Walder Frey not going to end up on the top of that list. I could do the best fighters in Game of Thrones, but I kind of was just thinking about it in terms of the theme of the show, and I figured we would rank it as who played the game the best. Throughout the course of the series, who are the best game players in the history of Game of Thrones? So without further ado, and for the sake of keeping this thing manageable, let's go ahead and start off with King Robert Baratheon. How well did King Robert play the game? Well, let's see. He was dead by the end of season 1, but he made it to be king, right? I mean, he at least gets to be... He held the title of king. So, yeah, he was a drunkard and a womanizer. But for now, let's stick him in the A category. If you got a problem with that, tell me where you'd put him. All right, let's go ahead and move along over here to Sansa. Wow, we talking about early season Sansa or late season Sansa? Because the later it got into the series, the better she was able to start to navigate the political maneuverings in this game. And as you assholes may know, this is going to contain spoilers in it because the series is over. I didn't mean to call you assholes. Most of you guys are all right. You know who I'm talking to. The ones that come by and are like, spoilers. I clicked a Game of Thrones video and didn't expect to hear him talk about Game of Thrones. Anyways, whatever. Sansa. Well, guys, I mean, who ends up on the Iron Throne? I don't think we can put Sansa anywhere below S tier. Grand Maester Pycelle. He was slick, right? He was like this old dude that acted way more like old and disabled or unabled body than he was. His posture changed real quick when he was with the prostitutes, and he was a pretty good game player. He was able to manipulate. He got Tyrion back pretty good. But by no means did he ever hold any super high ranks. Let's put him in the C category. Arya Stark. How well does Arya Stark play the game? Arya Stark is above the game. Arya Stark doesn't need the game because she plays the game of faces. And she is so separated from the politics of Westeros that it's hard to put her up on the top as far as being able to play the game. But by herself, she managed to overthrow House Frey. She played a pivotal role in saving Winterfell. I mean... she's a bad motherfucker. I got to put her in the S category. I kind of broke my own rule there. Bran Stark. How well does Bran Stark play the game? Well, Bran ends up being the actual king of the Seven Kingdoms. I think I said Sansa was the queen of the Seven Kingdoms. She's the queen of the North, which is even cooler. So, Bran, I don't know what you were doing, man. You were playing some sort of game. That was the long con. It's like he knew the whole time what was going on. I don't know if that makes you a good game player when you know everything, but all right, we got so many characters to get through. Oh, Rickon, what did you ever do other than get captured and murdered? Joffrey. Did Joffrey play the game well? Nah, Joffrey was just kind of put in power after the death of Robert. He didn't stick around very long. He was a tyrant. He wasn't good with the people, but he was a king. Let's see. Ser Jorah. Ser Jorah didn't play the Game of Thrones. Sweet guy. Really good confidant. Good friend. Advisor. Sorely missed, might I add, in that final season. She could have used a little Jorah in her life, but not a big game player. All right, Theon Greyjoy. Well, he went and overtook Winterfell for all of like a couple of days before his people turned on him. He kind of came back in the late game. As far as playing the game, he wasn't quite there on the level of a Joffrey. Littlefinger. How well did Littlefinger play the game? Littlefinger invented the Game of Thrones. Nobody played the game as well as Littlefinger. Well, because Littlefinger played the game so well, does that mean I need to take Arya down? I mean, she really wasn't a political maneuverer. Sorry, Arya, you just got madly demoted. Bran, you were a prophet, not a strategist. You get put down. Okay, this is starting to make a little more sense. Because Sansa was trained by none other than Littlefinger. The Hound. The Hound ain't worried about the Game of Thrones. He found himself into, service and servitude of some powerful lords and ladies. But, yeah, not a game player. Samwell Tarly. Well, he figured, he cracked the code. He knew the cheat code to the game, kind of similar to Bran. But yeah, not a political kind of strategist. Didn't really have to do too much manipulating or maneuvering. Who else plays the game better than Tyrion Lannister? Not many. One of my favorite characters. It could be debated that as the season went along, maybe he got a little less good at the Game of Thrones. But yeah, for now, I think he's S tier. He's definitely S tier. Renly Baratheon would have been the people's king. Yeah, he had a secret, and maybe people in Westeros weren't as progressive as others, but he had a large army. He was loved by the people. He was charming. He was able to do diplomatic things well. He seemed like he would have been a great ruler of Westeros. Thus, he didn't last very long. I actually kind of got to put him above King Robert. I don't know. For now, we'll put them both in the same place. Well, let's see. What's her name? One of my favorite characters from early seasons, Roz. Roz, she was embedded. You know what I mean? She had to work for Littlefinger. She was working for Varys at different points. She definitely was involved in a lot of the maneuvering that goes on. What do you think? B or C? Is she in the same category as Joffrey? No, I gotta go here. And as I'm gonna keep moving this list around as we go. Sir Jorah Mormont. No. Not Jorah Mormont. Other Mormont. Can't remember his name right now. Let me know in the comments section. Not a game player. Great leader of the Night's Watch. Actually, he was able to kind of do business with Craster, even though Craster was a scumbag. Gendry. He ended up getting a title at the end of the series. It was kind of just given to him. But I like Gendry. He just never held any, never had a chance really throughout the show. Let's see. Lysa Arryn. Well, she held the Eyrie. Is it the Eyrie or the Vale? But she was a Fruit Loop. She got played by Littlefinger. That's basically all that happened. Little sweet Robin Arryn. The glow-up king himself. I mean, yeah, I can't put him any higher than that, can I? I don't think that seems right. Sir Bronn of Blackwater. He's great. He's a sellsword. Definitely did some political maneuvering. He was always trying to get that castle, and eventually he got it. But he had to do a whole lot to get there, and he just kind of flip-flopped his allegiances, and I don't know. He got his castle. You know what I mean? He got his castle. Lord Varys, Tyrion, Sansa, Littlefinger. I don't know if anybody. We'll see if anybody else ends up in the S tier. The Prince of Flowers, Tyrell. What was his name? Sir Loras Tyrell. He was kind of like Marjorie. He was playing the system. He knew that if he wanted power, he should go after Renly. We could give him a little credit for that. Cersei Lannister. Oh, yeah, she goes up in there in the S tier for sure. Shae. Shae, you sneaky chick. She played the game. He was never interested in playing the game. Benjen Stark. Never worried about what was going on in the world of Westerosi politics. Sir Barristan. I don't know. Good warrior. Haha. Carl Drago, like I like to call him. Khal Drago, sorry. Yeah, I don't know. He conquered. I will put him up in there in the C category. Hold the door, and hold the door you did. And you did a very good job of it. Oh, see, this is old school Lancel, back before he got the glow up. Isn't that who that is, Sir Lancel? Looking very pretty in this picture. Lancel, you're a bum. Master Ewan or Master Lewin, not a big game player. None of the maesters are gonna be very good at the political maneuvering. This fucker, Alistair, he was able to enact a coup against Jon Snow, who was loved by many, and get him murdered on the Night's Watch. So, you know, there's that. What was her name? Osha, you cleaned up nicely, you know what I mean? Got a Targaryen over here, Maester Aemon. Catelyn Stark, good try playing the Game of Thrones. She went and she talked to allies and tried to get people on Rob's side. She knew not to fuck with the Freys. She gave Rob good advice. She tried. She was a good mom. Oh boy. Did you fuck up the game, Taisha? Is that what her name was? Or is that in the book? Whatever. Okay, another one. How many people can I fit on the D? Because Brienne Tarth, not a big game player. Sir Davos, the Onion Knight, the smuggler, worked himself up into a noble house, became the most trusted advisor of some of the most political minds in Westeros. Always the voice of reason. Always a moral center, even when shit around him was going crazy. I gotta give him props, even though he was not one of the most meticulous, or like one of the most ruthless or cunning. He had value. I like him. Tywin Lannister. And man, those Lannisters, they know how to play the game like the best of them. You know, I liked, what's his ass? Stannis Baratheon. He held the crown. You got to give him some love. He held the crown. He must have known how to play the game reasonably well. He was a great military strategist. Marjorie Tyrell. Very few people play the game as well as Marjorie. Marjorie knew how to win people over. I mean, her looks alone are enough to make anybody just instantly like anything you say. But not only that, like she was very... she used compassion and almost weaponized it in a way to get what she wanted. She knew how to earn Joffrey's trust and his favor with these little subliminal things that she did. I think she's one of the best. Let me look at my list so far. There's no way that, man, she's got to go up in the top. She's got to go up in the top tier. Let's see. Poor Ygritte. Not a big Game of Thrones player. What's his name? Seabass Greyjoy? I don't remember. You go down there, though. You sucked. Roose Bolton. Pretty slick, wasn't he? He was pretty slick. Gilly didn't know how to play the Game of Thrones. Sir Jaime Lannister. He was a noble man. Did he play the Game of Thrones? Was he able to manipulate and consolidate power? Yeah, you know, he's alright. He's one of my favorite characters in the show, to be fair. I'm just, the way I'm trying to quantify this list, it's like, it's tricky. How do you actually say who plays the Game of Thrones best? Because I'm sure it's different for everybody, but Podrick, sweet boy. He had a nice little glow up at the end too, man. And who knew he had pipes like that? Just because he could sing that good. We're putting him up here in B. Melisandre, girl, you brought Jon Snow back from the dead, which puts you in the S category. But you burnt Shireen alive. You fucking lit up the Dothraki swords, which was pretty cool. But most of your prophecies were wrong. You did die where you said you were gonna die. I don't know. She was a pretty important player in the Game of Thrones, wasn't she? But at the end of the day, what did she really do? I guess she killed Renly. Yeah, all right. She's staying there for right now. Let's see. Yara. For Yara. Great character. Not real military strategist. She was good. She was good. She did good things for the Iron Islands, but she wasn't really ever vying for the throne in the same kind of way as some of these other characters were. I'm going to put her down there in that category. So Jaqen H'ghar could not care less about the Game of Thrones. Grey Worm, foot soldier. What's this guy's name? Eye patch guy. Come on, what's his name? Let me pull this up on my cheat sheet real quick. I'm an embarrassment. Let's see. Beric Dondarrion. Beric Dondarrion. He brought people back from the dead, served the Lord of Light, stuck around for a while. I don't know. Where should we put this guy? Didn't seem to be all that concerned with the Game of Thrones. Missandei? Man, she gave some great advice till she didn't. She was a good advisor, a trusted advisor to Daenerys. Mance Rayder did not. Mance Rayder said, fuck the game. Fuck all this feudalism crap you've got going on. We know what's important. It's life or death. We just want to be respected. Mance Rayder, probably one of my favorite characters in the show, but he was not a Game of Thrones guy. He goes at the bottom of the list. Tormund, same deal. I love the guy. The people who don't play the Game of Thrones are almost as great as the ones that do, or better. I'm not sure. Ramsay had no tact. Roose was right about it. He was ruthless and he was callous, and it didn't serve him well for long. He could have tried to be a little more subtle, a little more nuanced. But he did hold a title there for a little bit. We'll go ahead and put him there and then B. Daenerys Targaryen. Daenerys Targaryen. Once she got to Westeros, it became abundantly clear that she was not ready to play the Game of Thrones. She did not understand all of the passive backstabbing soap opera shit that was going on. She was a breaker of chains. She was a mother of dragons. She freed all these slave cities and did a lot of great things. However, kind of a psycho. Oh, Queen of Thorns. Elena Tyrell. Played with the best of them. I don't think anybody will deny that. This drunkard, what was his name again? Toros. How could I forget about Toros? Yeah, Toros didn't care about the game. And then there's this one guy. I think his name was Who Gives a Fuck. He was like a warg. Like him, Maester Qyburn. Qyburn was a creep. I was into him. He was like Dr. Frankenstein. He was definitely Cersei's right-hand man for quite a while. Did he play the game? Hey, he was on the winning side for a while. Let's throw him an A. Why not? Blackfish was not interested in playing the game. King Tommen, you are probably one of the worst game players of them all, especially. I mean, but you had a crown on your head. You were just born a noble blood. Fuck you. A lot of people argue about the sexy version of Daario Naharis. This is my sexy version of Daario Naharis. Let's see. Where does Daario go? Big ladies man. Didn't really do much. I don't know what happened to a Marine once Daenerys left. He probably said, fuck this, I'm out. But he did rule over a city for a little while. Okay, this man right here, Oberyn Martell. Vengeance was on his mind, but he loved being royalty so much. He was such a badass fighter and a womanizer. Not that's not even the right thing to say. It was Lothario. He loved them all. Women, men, hopefully not children, but I was a big fan of his. He was an ass-kicking, hedonistic playboy who came over and made the show fun for a little while. Alaria Sand, she poisoned Marsala, which was, I mean, that was pretty grim. I'm not a big fan of that. We're going to go ahead and throw her down on the bottom. Sweet little Marcella. Does Marsala Wallace look like a bitch to you? I mean, what did she ever do? She died. That's about all she ever did. She died. Viserion, yeah. You thought you were a dragon, but really you were just no. It'd be like me stepping to fucking Khal Drago. It's not going to turn out good for me. Sand snakes, can we all agree none of them played the game, but man, that rack, it's going to put her in the C category at least, just for that. This guy, the High Sparrow, he was a sneaky man, and I think he definitely consolidated power real fast and became the most powerful person in King's Landing in a matter of weeks. So yeah, you got to put him up there in the top ranks. Let's see. Prince Ali, fabulous. He gonna get copyright claim. I don't know. What was his name? Prince of Dorne. Got stabbed in the back of the head. He didn't do shit. His dad, uncle, I don't remember. The whole Dorne thing kind of runs together for me. About the same. Who cares? Euron. This man ended up in Cersei's bed within just a couple of episodes. He took the Iron Islands. He was ambitious. A lot of people didn't love this character. That was kind of the point. He was an asshole. I had fun with him. I say he definitely took out some dragons. Like the dude was on top of his shit. He is the man who killed Jaime Lannister. So yeah, well, I think that's a fair spot for him. Let's see. This pretty lady right here, Essie something, she was in The Babadook, but was she really a character in this show? I mean, what about this person? Some sort of witch, Maggie the Frog or something? Not real sure. Here's a Tarly. Tarly's dad. Did he play the game well? Nah, he was a piece of shit. Jon Snow. Worst player of the Game of Thrones or best player? Or worst player or best player? The man could not. He's George Washington. The man could not tell a lie. He's got no place in Westeros. This guy from the acting troupe, good actor. What are we even talking about here? Same deal. What are you doing in here? What are you doing in here? Robb Stark. Robb Stark handled his shit. He was a great soldier. Had a actually really good military strategy mind. He was a noble person. His heart got in the way of his ability to be a successful leader, but I think he was a good game player. And then Ned Stark, notoriously the worst player in Game of Thrones. Poor noble Ned. Off with your head. I guess I'm going to end this video on a shitty nursery rhyme. What do you guys think, though? That's my list. It looks like there's a whole lot of people in the D category that I do not think could play the game. Maybe I could have split things up a little bit different, but hey, this is my list, and you can actually make your own. I would love to see what it looks like. I will post a link in the description on how you can go and make your own. And there are many to choose from. There are templates all over the place from one end of fandom to the next. I just chose to do some Game of Thrones because I figured you guys would want to talk about it with me for a minute. Thank you so much for coming by, and if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, take just a second to smash that little thumbs up button down there. It really helps me out. And if you want to share it, that helps too, because sharing is caring. To stay up to date with all of the terrible content, then all you got to do is head to YouTube, subscribe to Movies Are Terrible, and then cross your fingers that that notification actually comes through. Most importantly, and until next time, I'm Jeremy. Be terrible. Bye.